Hi everybody, Bunny Berry. Now this is part 2 of our goal setting session for our WholeFu Challenge. What we're going to do now that we have looked at our triumphs, we want to do the same thing with what I call last year's life bombs. These are the things that exploded in your life that really didn't turn out the way that you wanted them to. It could be anything from, you gained weight, your clothes are fitting a little tighter than they did last year, you had plans to do something important to you that didn't get done, you started a project and didn't get it finished, you were disappointed in the way a relationship worked out, you were disappointed in the way that your marriage or your love relationship is working, you did something. I mean, it's time to kind of admit, like, okay, I'm not a perfect person, and this past year wasn't a perfect year. And I know that, in a lot of communities, really discourage thinking about the negative. And this is not an exercise in thinking about the negative. It's an exercise in admitting what didn't work last year for you. What didn't work in 2009? Write down the things that you can remember. Like I lost my job, I lost a friend, I lost a loved one. These are things that even though we try to squeeze them and make lemonade out of those lemons, they do get stored in our internal psyche. They get stored as toxins every time we have an adrenaline rush, that our body can't detox. They can get stored in those fat cells. So we want to write down what those disappointments are so that we can get rid of them. We can release them. We can say, okay, these were the things that disappointed me. And then we can flip the page into our next goal setting session, and we can set off all of those little life bombs and sweep them out the door and say, okay, these were the things that didn't work for me. And then we're going to look at our triumphs and our life bombs together and say, okay, so based on my triumphs and my life bombs, what have I learned in the last year? And what can I use from what I learned to accomplish what I want to do in 2010? So during this exercise, just go ahead and write down all of those life bombs. Little ones, big ones, doesn't matter. Like I said, it's your list. You feel free to share them with us or not share them with us. I'll share some that I had from a few years ago. Like one of them that I wrote down was I didn't spend any vacation time relaxing. That I spent a whole year just working and working and working and not taking any time for myself. Well, that is a life bomb because you need to spend time taking a little bit of time for yourself. During this particular year, I said I also had a negative attitude about my job. And that can happen sometimes. Even if it's a job that you really like or a career that you enjoy, you might have a period of time, if you've been there for a while, that you just had a negative attitude about it. And by acknowledging that and realizing it, you can say, oh, well, I can turn that around and make it into a positive attitude or take a step to improve that during the upcoming year. And, just write them down. Just write down whatever those life bombs were for you, no matter how big or how small. I guarantee you there is a lesson to be learned from them. So write all of those down and then move on to the next step in your goal setting. So thank you so much, and eat your veggies.